We went to our first ever Funko event and it was a f***ing mess. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Gastlecast. We're glad you're there. You get the right time. We had an all-time high. Funko's hot toys and charms don't mind. Stick around, like, comment, and be sure to subscribe because life's a little better when you answer Chris and Heather. Hey, life's a little better when you answer Chris and Heather. Hey, life's a little better when you answer Chris and Heather. And remember, if you tell along, we are together. Yes.
So you might notice that my voice is a little messed up and that's because I caught the con crud. I don't feel well, and in this video, I'm not going to be as energetic as I usually am, but I'll try my best to be energetic. Heather also caught it, so that's cool.
How'd I catch it, Chris?
Because you couldn't keep your lips off me. Alright, so Fright Night. We went to Fright Night, we were super excited because it was our very first Funko event ever. We've heard in the past about Fun Days and how amazing that they are, and we were expecting the best, the very best. Well, I hate to break the news to you early, but it wasn't the best, and we're gonna tell you why it wasn't the best. But first, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell. That way you'll know anytime we go live or post new content like this right here. We go live every Sunday between 8 and 9 p.m. and we post a new video every single day, so don't miss out on any of that stuff. Make sure you hit the like button also because the like helps this channel. And if you want to help a little bit more, make sure you head over and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Gastlecast. You can find out all the ways that you can support there. Alright, so Fright Night. What a disaster.
I don't want to agree with you because I had a lot of fun. Like,
did you?
Yes, I did.
You had fun.
I did.
You're gonna have to explain to me when you had fun because I was mostly sweaty.
I was sweaty.
I was mostly confused as to where I was supposed to be.
I was confused.
I was mostly upset because I had no idea where the line started and ended.
Yeah, it wasn't a line, it was just a crowd.
Where did you go? And also the boxes were the same across the board practically, other than a couple of variations of sodas.
Yeah, Chris and I got the same exact box, which I'm fine with. I like the items that were in the boxes.
We got the Squid Game sodas, so.
I think everybody got a Squid Game soda, right?
Did they? I don't know.
I think. I don't know. I didn't pay attention.
Squid Games. Hold on. Oh. The exact box that we saw in the video.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Freddy Funko as Werewolf, Freddy Funko as Spirit, and Freddy Funko as Player 218. And they put you in a really big line to get in through the door. And we stood in that very long line for a long time. Look at this. This is crazy. Where did you go? In fact, we had a hard time finding where Fright Night was actually taking place. We walked around a lot with our friend Jason Swoboda of 7 Bucks a Pop. If you don't know what 7 Bucks a Pop is, go to 7bucksapop.com. Also follow their social media on Instagram and on Facebook. Also follow their YouTube channel because Jason makes a bunch of content there and it's really amazing. On top of that, make sure you buy some Pop Shield armors from 7 Bucks a Pop. Is the best way to protect your grails. So we walked around trying to figure out where this place was. We took the stairs, we ended up finding the elevators and everything else and the escalators, and we found our way to the top. We stood in a line, a really long line.
A really long line.
A stick with holes in it is called a flute. And a donut with no holes is a Danish.
We're going up again, I think, Heather. Count Jason, be careful with your
I know, I have to lift it up.
I don't want you to get stuck in the escalator.
I don't want to get sucked under.
And lose your costume.
No, that's not very good. You don't want the undersuck. It's not fun.
Nobody likes the undersuck.
They don't. Sounds great, but it's terrible. 401.
401's downstairs.
Bro character. So that's downstairs then. All right.
Hold on, there's the elevator right there. Want to use the elevator?
Sure.
All right, Count Jason, use the elevator.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I don't think the elevator's going to work.
I think we're going to have to use the escalator.
All right, we'll just go back down again.
Now we're just going to plow through.
Let's just jump off.
There's too many puns happening right now.
All right, I think we're on the right floor now.
We are.
I think that's the line down there.
You know where Fright Night is tonight.
The Funko thing.
Straight down. All those people are free.
All right.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Yes.
Yep, you're all good.
Thank you.
Head on down.
Thank you. Thank you. And then we got into the event, and then they handed you badges, and they were handing you cards.
Hold on.
What?
Before we got into the event, I went and asked an attendant while we were in this long line, I'm gonna have to use the bathroom at some point. Is there a bathroom in where Fright Night is taking place, or do I have to go to the one all the way over there? And he said, well, I think there's just one, but it's not for guests.
What?
Yeah.
In other words, it wasn't a
Fright
bathroom
Night.
for you?
Yeah, in where Fright Night was. So then I had to go all the way to the other side. I mean, it had to have been a quarter mile. I'm not even exaggerating. I had to go all the way to the other end and find the bathroom. I went to
my
the
God.
bathroom, got back in line. We went up. I saw that there's bathrooms right there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's sort of like a preview of how disorganized all of this was.
Yes.
It felt like Funko and Reed Pop had a plan, and that plan's execution was very poor. I want to say overall, my opinion of this event was trash. It was trash because it was so confused. So when you walk through, you get through your big line, and finally you're inside of like the Fright Night area, which was like a big gigantic room. There were people literally everywhere, and you could not find where the hell you were supposed to go. But it turned out that in one area, all the people that were sort of like packed together, they were in line to get the Fright Night box. And then there was another line where people were trying to get their proto.
3, 2, 1. It's the glory hole. How are ya?
Yeah.
Thank you so
You
much.
gotta find something super cool in there.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Right here? Oh my God. Once you got through all those lines, at that point in time, you were overheated, you were hot as hell, and all you wanted was to get some air and a drink. There were no drinks, at least in that point that I'm aware of. Also, the food was gone within 2 minutes. It was like completely gone. And at the beginning of all this, we were told that we were getting drink tickets. Well, there was no bar in sight. There wasn't any soda or anything. You could actually get like cups of water out of like these big gigantic barrel things.
The water actually tasted really good.
Yeah, the water was pretty decent, but it was just like weird. I don't know. It just didn't seem like you were getting what you paid for. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah.
It felt like you were paying $200 and some per ticket for something that should have cost you like $70.
Well, in my opinion, the box of Fright and the goodies we got in itself was probably worth the $200 we paid.
You're saying the box that we received, the prototype, and then the Freddy Funko that you got at the end was worth it?
Yeah.
The $200? I don't agree with that.
I mean, you get a proto.
I don't know. When I heard that there was food and drink tickets, I expected there to be a lot more available. There was nothing there. But after we got out of those lines, we ended up going outside to get a breath of fresh air. And while that was happening, unbeknownst to us, somebody was inside handing out tickets to random people that were in costume so they could be a part of a costume contest. We had no idea. And it wasn't even explained that that was going to happen. So Heather and I came as Jay and Silent Bob. Heather had a pixelated wiener. And we were hoping that we would at least be a part of the whole costume experience, but we weren't. And we were left completely out of that with no explanation at all.
Nope.
For now on, I'm not going anywhere. I'll just stay inside and die in the sweat.
Yeah, we'll just sweat until there's a river, and then people have to build canoes.
What?
I'm delusional. I don't feel good.
All right, so when you walked in originally, you got a little ticket. One said like monster, one said vampire and zombie, and so on and so forth.
Jack-o'-lantern.
Jack-o'-lantern. And they gave you items based off of whatever your card said. So throughout the show, which later on, they ended up putting up a stage, and no tables and chairs were there for us. You had to stand. It was like standing room only. It was like being at a concert.
Yeah, so you're walking around a con all day, and in our situation, we were working a con all day.
Standing all day long.
Standing, and then we had to stand at Fright Night.
Ugh.
On a hard floor, it wasn't even carpeted or anything.
It was obnoxious. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why anybody ever thought that was a good idea. It was a horrible idea. And not to mention, you carry in a bunch of stuff because you got your boxes. You got like pillowcases with your boxes in it, your Fright Night boxes. You would set them on the floor and they got kicked around and stomped on the whole time. Luckily, ours didn't get damaged, but I imagine somebody left out of there with a damaged box. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Is that water? Is that yours?
You can have it.
I'm gonna have this. I'm dying. I think by the end of this video, I'll be dead. You got tea? Where'd you get tea? I like tea. So the tickets that you're handed with the words monster, vampire, jack-o'-lantern, or whatever, got you items like this. So you could get a Freddy Funko, where he's dressed in the Frightmare on Fun Street shirt.
Which is really nice, but we had already gotten one from the Funko booth earlier that day. We got a reservation to the Funko booth, but we gave it to our friends just because they were willing to stand in line, and Chris and I were beat. They got us this guy, and it turns out we got it for free that night. I'm super happy to have this guy, but it's just sort of crappy how it happened. What I do have to say is I love his con bag full of stuff, and I love his I Love New York backpack.
Yeah, and he also has I Love New York on his right here in like a little pin.
Oh, that's cute.
He's a great Freddy, but this was something that you could buy at the booth. Why give it at the event? And on top of it, to add insult to injury, they also handed you a gold figure of DMC. And not that I hate this figure or I hate gold in general, which I do. I was just bummed out that we didn't get stuff that was more limited. Like, it would have been nice if your ticket meant something. If you got something that no one else could get. You can go online and buy this right here, like at any point in time. They also gave out a Bella Porch. I don't know who the that even is.
It was a Funko Shop exclusive,
right.
So it's gonna be on the Funko Shop.
And then also a taco and a something else. It was like a
yes.
2-pack.
And that one was pretty cool, but that's another one that's gonna be an online exclusive.
Right.
Why did they hand those out? I mean, I'm fine with it, and I'm super grateful that they gave us stuff, but you would imagine that they would do something different for the people who actually got in, especially because like the whole ticket situation was crazy. They were limited. Not only that, but it's cool to go to an event and be like, this is what I got there.
Yeah.
But if you say, this is what I got at Fright Night with my $200 ticket, your friend's probably going to say, oh, well, I saw that at Walmart yesterday. There were 60 of them.
So my issue isn't necessarily what was given out during the event. Like, if I went there and the event was amazing, but they gave out mediocre items, I would say, okay, cool. But the event was mediocre at best. They had DMC that came on stage and he did like his song and dance, which was cool.
That was awesome. I've never seen DMC live, so I was so happy to be a part of that.
Elvira came out on stage as well. She talked about her book. Teresa O'Brien came out for a second.
Yeah, and we got to see some sneak peeks of his new Boo Hollow stuff coming out.
So that was cool.
Look how adorable they are. And we've got some favorites. There's Nina in her baseball outfit.
Oh my god!
There's Raven who's getting a moon tan on the
But those are things that were put online, so we really could have just looked on Instagram and checked them.
And then Mike Becker put on a really good show.
Oh my gosh. Chris thinks the event was trash. I think the event could have been done better. I'm not putting the blame on Funko at all. I think it had to do with Reed Pop and how that was handled, as well as the people who run the convention center, which I would assume is Reed Pop. But Mike knows how to do. He makes stuff fun. He makes you feel like you're a kid.
We have enough Funko in spirit now to finally create Fright Night Freddy! Should we check the meter, Master? Of course!
I really, really appreciate that. I think it's so freaking cool.
Yeah, he put on a fun show, but
yes,
it was hard to have fun when you're standing up after standing for like 9 hours that day.
Yeah.
Tired, hot, everything compounded just made it horrible.
For Chris and I, we had a bit of a different circumstance than I would imagine most people who went did, because I would assume most people who went were just at the con, where we had a booth. We were there on Friday and we sold out fairly quickly, but then we wanted to go and do some stuff. I tried waiting in line for Steve, but that line was like a 2 or 3 hour line. I was
Steve
like,
Burns from Blue's Clues.
Yeah, I was like, forget this. So we ended up going back to our apartment. And by the time we got back to our apartment, we only had about an hour or so until we had to start going back. That was fine. It was enough for us to like sit down, eat a meal, get dressed, freshen up a little bit, and then go. Realistically wasn't enough.
This situation would have been so much more fun. This event would have been so much more fun had there been tables and chairs. I think that would have changed everything for me.
Yes.
If they had tables and chairs, it would have been so much better.
Yes.
I also wish that they would have handed out limited items. Like if I were to complain about the items that were given out, I love that they did the Blacklight Freddy Funko, but imagine if they did a Blacklight Freddy Funko and then a variant of that, and they did like a 500 and like an 1,000 one or something.
Yeah, or with those cards, they did 4 different variants.
Just something. Yeah, if they did that, that would be amazing. But at the end, how they closed it out, they basically gave you the Blacklight Freddy Funko. And so when they closed the showdown, you turned around, you had to get in another line, another sea of people that eventually turned into a line to get your Blacklight Freddy Funko skeleton. Holy shit. After that entire night, that's how you get it? Why didn't they have it like tables at the door, and as you left, they just handed it to you and you walked out? Right? Am I crazy to think that?
Yeah. And
I was thinking that the whole time.
I think it was our first time doing it in this venue because from what I understand, that part of the convention center wasn't open in years past.
Right.
I think it was just built. This was almost like a test run, even though it was a
definitely
real event.
felt that way.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So they'll learn stuff from this event, learn what to do and what not to do, what worked and what didn't work. And I can appreciate that because honestly, this whole con was a learning experience for Chris and I, being vendors at our very first show. And we'll talk more about that. We have a documentary coming out called Making Mischief at NYCC. It's going to be so much fun, and I don't want to get into it here, but I can appreciate trial and error.
Yeah.
I just wish it wasn't at my back and feet's expense.
Oh my God. I felt like after that whole event.
Yeah.
I felt horrible. It just didn't feel worth it to me. I don't feel like I got my money's worth. Like if I at least gotten a drink out of it instead of just having to drink that water all night, although I like the water, but you had like these little tiny cups that you're sipping out of, and
I don't know if you guys are water snobs, but I totally am. That Fright Night water was so good.
Yeah,
one of them was flavored, I'm pretty sure, with basil. One of them was like lemon. It was really, really good.
Well, then the
water.
other issue with this event was that people were up against the stage where Mike Becker and everybody else is running up and down, and they were throwing out free items the entire time.
This was the worst part of it, in my opinion, aside from the disorganization with the lines and stuff.
Yeah, people were basically fighting each other to get the different items, so they were like throwing them out to us, and people were trying to catch it and leaning in to grab stuff, and it was an absolute nightmare. In fact, at one point in time, 2 people did end up breaking out into like a minor fight. I mean, it shut down pretty quickly, but I'm watching all this thinking, this is like a mosh pit. It shouldn't be done like that.
No.
At all. Like that doesn't even, it's not even fun anymore.
That's how people get injured. That's how people get upset. Also, not to mention, like the people that were up front, I heard there was one person who got like 6 or 7 of the prizes.
Yeah, they had a box. They had a big, I saw them. They had like a big cardboard box.
Yeah.
And stuff was just being dumped into it.
And I'm pretty sure someone got injured at Fun Days because they were throwing stuff out into the crowd. So that's when they shut it down. So why are they bringing it to New York?
I have no idea.
I love the show that they put on. They had like a magic show. Like Mike was
what
so
do you mean?
cool.
I couldn't even see the magic show.
I know. If it were done better, I mean, at least have a screen where we could see
that's
it.
another thing. They had a magic show that no one could see. Like it was so, everything was just so disjointed. I think that Mike Becker and crew had a really great plan in place, and the execution of that plan just didn't go over well.
And I think they had restrictions.
So this is not a hate video against Funko. This is really a hate video, I guess maybe to Reed Pop and whoever handled this thing.
Yeah.
Because how they handled it wasn't right. Then there were security guards running around yelling at people.
Oh my God. So I took my lanyard off for literally less than 30 seconds. Like I pulled it off, I set it down, I stood up to take a picture with somebody, and he was like, "Where's your credentials?"
Okay. Okay. All right.
Right here. Can I take it off for just a second? Thank you. I promise I will. I'm trying to show my gift here.
What happened?
Oh, he got pissy about her taking her lanyard off.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah, the guard jumped all over Heather for
I was
no
like,
reason.
right there, I'm just taking a picture.
I do like some of the items that we did get from it. I feel like that the boxes should have had some different, more limited
It would have
items
been
as
cool
well.
to have, like we had at Fun Days, like 4, 5, 6 different boxes where you could get something that maybe you like, you have a piece that you don't like, and you trade it to somebody for an item that you
Couldn't
do
do
like.
any of that because you didn't have any of that. Like, there was a couple of different sodas that was there.
I hate that I'm complaining about the physical stuff because realistically, that doesn't matter to me. Like, I loved that I could go to a Funko event. I wish that things were different.
Don't we all? So hopefully next event that we go to, if we ever get to go to another event, I hope it's better. I hope it seems more fun. Like, I feel like I didn't have fun.
I would have...
Here's my final thought on this.
Okay.
When I was standing there and we were about the halfway point of the event, I kept looking at my watch waiting for it to be over.
Me too. During the whole event, they were trying to create something in this machine. And I was outside for the first part of it. I think they were trying to create a monster or something.
No, they're trying to create Freddy Funko skeleton.
But basically, they said we needed like Fright Night Spirit or Funko Spirit. I forget how he worded it, but you got that all on video and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, you would make noise and like scream and clap. They would be like, oh, well, you weren't loud enough. You don't have enough of the spirit. Then it was like, okay, so now we're here longer. Like,
yeah, it was a disaster.
It drug on because we were standing up. We were in a crowd full of people. We were just so tired. Again, I will say I had a blast. I did.
How did you have a blast?
I did. I really, with the exception of like being tired, I liked what they did. I liked what they showed us.
Where did you have a blast? Like when? I got actors out now. I'm like wondering what the hell you're talking about.
I loved when DMC came on stage.
Okay.
I loved Elvira talking. I loved seeing the previews of like the Pacas, the other.
You actually liked all that stuff.
Yeah,
so all
I
that
thought
stuff,
it was
was a
fun.
snooze fest. DMC was fine. He went on way too long in my opinion.
No way.
Elvira was just a snooze fest. It was just, she came out, she talked, and it was like, everybody loved Elvira. I'm not a huge Elvira fan, so maybe that's part of the problem. And then the Paca stuff, like that stuff, again, I could have seen online. I don't know, it's like, why am I getting previews of all this new shit? Why not give us like some fun stuff? At the Fun Days event, it was like you had teams that were facing off against each other. And
True.
And then they would announce like, oh, we're going to do a giveaway and table is this, and this is going to get this item, right? And then like now everybody's excited and screaming and hollering. And that didn't happen. None of that happened.
I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a good attempt. I did have a lot of fun.
Like the words, I thought it was a good attempt.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my, that's what this video should be called. Funko's good attempt.
Yeah. It was fun, in my opinion. We did get to hang out with friends. That was honestly the highlight of my time.
Yeah, we got to hang out with friends. I mean, but I got to see all those people, like, normally. I saw them at the con. It isn't like anything special happened with seeing friends. That's the point. That's my point, is that we were at the convention, and we got to see all these people already, and it was great hanging out with them the time that wasn't Fun or Fright Night. At Fright Night, we're hanging out with them again, which was great, and I'm saying now that I had a great time with them. We could have been at a restaurant eating dinner with those friends and had a better time.
Well, we wouldn't have gotten a Skeleton Freddy or a Creepshow Freddy or a They Live Freddy.
Or a DMC.
Or a DMC gold.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Why don't you think of that, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not thinking of that.
You getting a DMC with a side of steak?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
No, I'm saying that this event was trash.
Can you not cough in my direction?
Sorry. After hearing all of that, if you went to Fright Night or you did not go to Fright Night, we'd like to know what you think about all this that we've talked about and more in the comment section down below. And we're going to be doing a haul video very soon where we show you everything that we picked up while we were at the event. In every video, we like to shout out to some of our patrons from Patreon. In this video, we'd like to shout out to Kevin W. Klein, Nelson Shanner, Chris Calderon, Blake Smith, Jason Snowbarger, Amy Richmond, Brian Bohannon, Jose Torres, Adam Rubin, and Stationary Wanderer. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We appreciate all of our patrons. You guys rock. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. At this part of the video, you're going to see if I die or not.
I mean, I'm really ready to go to bed.
Okay, we're still alive, so that's cool. Remember, as always, we are together. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.